All right, let's jump right into this explainer. If you're a CFO or a finance transformation leader, you already know the deal. Managing spend, it's not just about paying the bills anymore. It's about fundamentally reshaping how your entire organization creates strategic value, mitigates risk, and optimizes that all-important working capital. So let's look at why modernizing your procurement ecosystem is absolutely crucial right now. We've got a really clear roadmap for this explainer today. We're moving from the strategic value of Source-to-Pay through a phased transition from Procure-to-Pay, how to select top transformation partners, driving returns with AI, and finally, proactively minimizing those financial risks.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the strategic value of S2P, and how we move way beyond just operational execution.
Now, as a CFO looking toward 2026, understanding the real distinction between these procurement frameworks is absolutely vital for optimizing your working capital. You hear the terms Source-to-Pay and Procure-to-Pay thrown around interchangeably all the time, right? Well, as we're going to see, treating them as the exact same thing is a massive missed opportunity for enterprise growth. The core difference between the two is really stark. P2P actually starts after suppliers are approved so you can execute payments. S2P starts long before that, focusing on overarching strategy and actual supplier value. Think of it this way. Procure-to-Pay is transactional. It's heavily focused on operational efficiency, purchase requisitions, purchase orders, goods receipt, and accounts payable. But Source-to-Pay, that is your much broader value creation engine. What's really fascinating about S2P is how it brings together analytics, finance, and procurement into one connected digital ecosystem to create long-term value. With Source-to-Pay, you are capturing the entire lifecycle. You're diving into spend analysis to spot maverick spending early. You're handling strategic sourcing, supplier negotiations, and risk assessment literally before a single purchase order is ever generated. It connects everything from that initial sourcing right through to the final supplier performance evaluation. Moving right along to Section 2, the phased transition from P2P to S2P. Let's map out this evolution to an optimized future state.
So how do organizations actually make this transition without breaking their current operations? Well, the beauty of this phased journey is that you don't have to boil the ocean. Many enterprises smartly implement P2P automation first, automating purchase requisitions, invoice processing, and payments to get their house in order and drive immediate efficiency. Then, they systematically expand outward into spend analysis and supplier discovery, ultimately reaching full end-to-end S2P integration with strategic sourcing.
Now, why make this shift? The crucial point here is that expanding from P2P to S2P gives you a far more strategic framework to actually hit those high-level financial goals. If you just stop at P2P, honestly, you're really just processing invoices faster. But when you expand to S2P, you unlock massive supplier visibility and seriously reduce your global supply chain risks. You're shifting from merely paying for things accurately to making absolutely sure you're buying the right things from the right partners at the perfect price. That brings us to Section 3, selecting top transformation partners to help accelerate this journey with some external expertise. To successfully pull off this phased approach, enterprises are increasingly turning to specialized providers. Among the top players driving this modernization are WNS, Accenture, and Genpact. They each bring something really unique to the table. WNS, for example, is leading the charge with AI-led finance transformation and intelligent invoice processing. Then you've got Accenture, bringing massive enterprise-scale procurement supported by AI and cloud platforms. And Genpact excels in digital procurement and analytics-driven AP operations. Teaming up with one of these partners can dramatically speed up your transformation timeline. But as a financial leader, how do you actually choose? When evaluating these partners, you absolutely must prioritize outcome-based transformation models and check their automation maturity. You want guaranteed, measurable ROI. Also, look closely at their ERP integration experience, because let's be real, if they can't smoothly connect to your existing core financial systems, the whole project's going to stall out. You also need to verify their analytics frameworks and supplier management capabilities to ensure you actually get the visibility you're paying for. Okay, let's get into the really fun stuff. Section 4, driving returns with AI, or how we turn raw data into measurable financial impact. By bringing in these advanced technologies, you're fundamentally shifting your procurement from a traditional cost center into a predictive financial lever. Take intelligent document processing, or IDP, for instance. That directly improves your invoice extraction accuracy, basically wiping out manual workloads. And predictive analytics? For a CFO, that is a total game changer. It lets you actually forecast procurement demand, spending patterns, and payment trends so you can optimize working capital instead of just reacting to a pile of incoming bills.
Organizations that invest in these intelligent, touchless models today are setting themselves up for a massive competitive advantage. We are rapidly moving toward a future of autonomous procurement, real-time spend intelligence, and truly touchless invoice processing. Imagine having AI predicting your supplier risks and detecting fraud seamlessly embedded into your daily workflows. That is the real power of a fully realized source-to-pay ecosystem. And finally, Section 5, proactively minimizing financial risks and building serious operational resilience. We have to talk about protecting your organization's financial health. When you rely on the typical P2P setup, disconnected systems, manual workflows, paper-based approvals, you're leaving yourself incredibly vulnerable to errors and fragmented visibility. Without centralized analytics, managing procurement costs is an uphill battle. You might not even realize you have compliance issues or duplicated vendors until an auditor points it out, which is never a fun conversation. On the flip side, the broader S2P solution centralizes your analytics, strengthens supplier collaboration, and tracks compliance from day one. It proactively tackles global supply chain disruptions through rigorous supplier onboarding and continuous performance tracking. By identifying maverick spending early on and keeping a close eye on your treasury visibility, you're actively preventing fraud and building genuine operational resilience against external shocks.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to ask yourself one vital question about your own organization's maturity. Is your procurement ecosystem just paying bills, or is it actually creating strategic financial value? Are you trapped in basic operational execution, or have you built an end-to-end source-to-pay ecosystem that drives true competitive advantage? Thanks for joining me to unpack these concepts. I challenge you to take a hard look at your operations this week and figure out where you can make that strategic leap.